Hello again, YouTubers. Welcome back to the Board Game Captain. I'm your host, the Board Game Captain.
And I'm Lynn.
And today we're going to be doing a Gen Con haul video. We're going to run through all the things, at least all the gaming-related things that we bought at Gen Con. We also got some artwork, and you picked up some mystery boxes with some...
movie memorabilia, mystery box. Well, it's a horror mystery box that had a bunch of movie stuff in it.
So we're not going to be going through those. We're just going to be going through all the games that we got at Gen Con. And you can... I mean, a lot of these are probably going to be upcoming for unboxings and review and tutorial videos on the channel. So be sure to comment down below which ones you guys are interested in seeing. So Lynn, why don't you start us off?
The first one is a 2-player hidden movement game called Dark is the Night. One person is a hunter around a campfire, and the other person is a monster in the darkness beyond the light of the fire.
And this was a 2 for $30 deal that they were doing with Major General Duel of Time, which is a little card and board based battle strategy game that kind of goes back and forth as you try to defeat your opponent. And the main reason, they both sounded kind of interesting to both of us, and they were very affordable at 2 for $30, so we decided to get them and check them out. So your turn again.
Next I have Minnow and Tori. I got this at Mayfair Games with my half-off coupon for doing their ribbon program. It's basically you're 2 aliens, and if on the back you can see there's a little board. It's like a battleship board almost, but it's magnetic, and you have to move your alien, which also moves your opponent's alien, and you both have to pick up your items that you dropped when your spaceship crashed to try and get off the planet again.
It looks very cute.
I don't know. I don't think it's cooperative. I think you're just messing with the other player by moving an alien.
We'll find out.
Yeah,
we'll find out. It's got a sand timer, so I'm guessing it's real time. Let's see how it goes. My next one is a game I talked about in my most anticipated games of Gen Con this year. This is Pinball Showdown. I love pinball, and this is one I was really looking forward to. In this game, you actually get to be a pinball and try to direct yourself towards the high-scoring areas in the machine. We'll have to see how that works.
My next one is Andromeda. You play an alien that is, what's the word?
Competing, exploring a derelict spacecraft?
Yeah, I guess explorer was the word I couldn't find. You're exploring a derelict spacecraft from an ancient race that has advanced technology, and you're trying to get the technology for your people while other alien races are trying to do the same thing.
Now that was one of yours, but I gotta say, that one sounds interesting. I'm interested to check that one out. So my next one is Joraku. Now Joraku has a beautiful Japanese watercolor art style, and it is a trick-taking area control game. We've actually already opened it and played it while we were at the convention, and it seems really interesting. The rules are only one page two-sided, but it's deceptive because there's actually a lot of complexity to this one. It's very interesting. I think I need to play this a few times before I get a full feel for it, but so far I like it.
My next one is This War of Mine. It's a post-apocalypse, and you're trying to survive and barricade yourself in your little area and make decisions on if you want to let people in. They might,
murder you in your sleep.
They might be a suck on your limited supplies, or they might be really useful. You don't know until you let them in.
We'll have to find out. My next one was a big one for me at the convention. It was Wasteland Express delivery service. I'm super excited to open this up and do a unboxing for you guys and do a review for it after we can get a couple games in. But this is a pickup and delivery game in the post-apocalypse, and everything about this game makes me think Mad Max, and I love it. I'm so excited. So excited.
Next one is Barren Park. It looks like you're supposed to build a park for bears by using puzzle pieces and puzzling them in.
That looks like a lot of fun. And the bears are so cute. You gotta love that.
Yeah, the bears are cute.
So now this was one I got off the discount rack at Mayfair for like $3 or $4. Gold Ahoy. So depending on whether you guys are interested, I may or may not do a review for this. This one's already on discount racks all over. But I demoed this a year or two ago and quite liked it. I guess it just didn't hit a note, and I didn't actually pick it up then, but then I saw it on the discount rack and I said, how can I go wrong for $4?
Next is Jupiter Rescue. We played this at the Mayfair get-together, and you're basically robots that have to work together to save the humans who are useless on the spaceship from an alien invasion.
And the aliens do look quite like Cthulhu monsters, and it's pretty cool. It's actually a quite thematic and difficult game. When we played it our first time, we lost so far.
Yeah, we
did well.
We got really close, but there was no way we were gonna win.
we need a rematch.
Yeah.
We need a rematch against the game. So my next game is Wizard Kings. Now the reason the wrapping is already off this one, I haven't actually opened it and looked at the pieces yet, but the game designer was there, or one of the game designers. I believe there's actually two on their family, and he signed my copy for me, which is really cool. And this looks like a really cool old school war strategy or battle strategy game using a hex map and wooden cubes with pictures of the various fantasy groups on it. It has 7 different armies to choose from, and I'm excited to play that game. I don't think Lynn is as excited on that one as I am, but I'm excited.
The next one I have is The Call of Catthulu, the Maximum Madness Edition, which comes with 3 books. It has the core rule book and 2 expansion books. It comes with cat dice and little cat minis, and it's basically... And
cat treats.
Cat treats, yes. It's basically a role-playing game where the cats save the world and the humans just open the tuna, is what it says on the box.
It seems funny and fun. This would be a great party game, I think. We'll have to check it out. We'll have to, you'll have to make an adventure for us to play at, like a gathering or a party. My next one is Gateway Uprising, another one I was quite excited about. This is a deck building area control game where you fight the other players to take control of the city, while also all of you fight the city guards and fight monsters that are trying to invade the city, because if they destroy the city while you're trying to fight over who's going to control it, the only thing you're going to control is ashes. So this one seems cool, and I am quite excited for that.
Now I have Oath of the Brotherhood. We played this at the AEG Big Game Night. It's a worker placement game where you're pirates and you do piratey things. What?
Continue.
There's a little bit of, there's not really fighting, but there's things like
take that elements.
Unlike other worker placement games that I've played, if a area has multiple spots for multiple players to go, if one of the spots already has an opponent's cube in it or pirate in it, you have to, if you go there, you have to fight, and there are things that will make it either better or worse for you to go there.
If you have a sword or a pistol.
Yeah. So it's not really fighting. It didn't really feel like it was fighty.
There was also that take that element if you can use the barrels of gunpowder to knock people off
we
spaces.
kind of forgot that was an option, and we never used it.
We'll have to try using it when we play it next. But you know what? I was with you on that. That one game we played of it so far was very good. We'll have to play it once or twice more before we get full opinions on it. But so far, I was enjoying that one. My next game is Sentient. Now, Sentient is a dice manipulation game where you play cards and have to try to get the dice next to them to meet certain combined numbers to be able to score points. But every time you play a card, it alters the dice next to it, so you can mess up the dice for the other cards that you've already played. It seems really brain burning, and I love those. So I'm very, very cool with wanting to play Sentient. I definitely want to try it.
My next one is Murder of Crows, which was signed by the designer down there in gold pen. And this is...
/ artist.
Oh, yes, the artist. He did the art for the cards. On the back, you can see a little bit. You need to spell out the word murder. And when you do, the first person who does wins. And then there's a little story on each card has a part of a sentence that will tell the story of the murder.
Now, we've already played this one about 4 or 5 times, so
Yes.
this is probably going to be one of our first new game reviews from games we picked up at the convention.
Mm-hmm.
So, because we've already got, I think, 4 or 5 games under our belt of that one. My next one here is 1750, Britain versus France, which is a cool game about the colonial wars between Britain and France as they fight over New World and island colonies and such in the year of 1750. I don't know if there's not much more to say about that. It's card based and it looks really cool. The artwork, it's all classic style paintings and portraits. So it looks like a really interesting one. I can't wait to try it out.
My next one is Wordsy. It's a word game where you only have some of the letters of a word, and you can add letters to make a longer word because you're not going to probably not have enough to make a word. Plus, there's no vowels, so you have to add vowels in. And on the back, it shows you just get a bunch of letters, a bunch of consonants, and then you got to use those in a word. You don't have to use all the letters, but the more you use, the more points you'll get.
My next one, now this game's been out for a few years, but they just had a reprint of the starter set, and that is Sails of Glory. Now, I love these kind of Age of Sail battle themed games, and I'm a big fan of the movie Master and Commander, and this is one I've been eyeing for a while, and then it was out of print, and they just reprinted it. It just came back out again, and I'm super excited to try out Sails of Glory.
My next one is an expansion to Mysterium. This is Mysterium Secret and Lies.
And this is the second expansion.
Yes, it's the second expansion. They have added story cards, which I don't know what they look like yet, but it says that you're going to find out the reasons why people were murdered, instead of just like, it was with the iron in the pool,
I'm also interested in that. That's going to be a cool one, I think. This is, now it doesn't say it on it because it's a big blue box and I haven't opened it yet, so this might be an interesting unboxing. But this is Century Golem Edition, believe it or not. It's got a big C over there for Century. Apparently same rules as Century Spice Road, but in this case, actually an interesting theme versus just trading spices. I'm sorry, designers, but trading spices does not make me interested. Trading parts to make golems, then you had me. And I bought it.
My next one is Onami. It is a tile laying strategy game where it's hard to describe without showing it. It's just you put down tiles and they have numbers on the 4 sides, and things like cool things happen if you're able to get the numbers.
Lots of chain reactions in that game. It's really neat. That one looks really neat. My next one here is Centipede, based on the classic Atari property of the same name. One player plays the gnome, the other player plays the centipede, and you play out a similar style to the old video game, or you can play it 2 versus 2 and have each side have both a centipede and a gnome. They only had a limited quantity of these at the convention, and I'm glad we got a copy because it does look interesting, and I love the old video game.
My next one is Skyward. You have to build the highest
floating.
Oh, you have to build a floating
city. Mm-hmm. That's the one with the steampunk airships, and you're bringing up pieces of the city to build a floating city, and everybody's building their own floating city, I think. I'm not sure if you're building one together or if you're building your own, but you want to be the most successful in building a floating city, basically. It looks really cool.
It's competitive, so I guess you're not building.
You're probably, I don't know if you're building the same city and whoever gets the most points in the city, or if you're each building a separate city. I'm not really sure.
I don't know either.
I don't know. My next one to show off here is Village of Horror. And this one looks like a card game that has some sort of competitive deduction elements as you try to figure out who are the humans and who are the werewolves, and there's a third party too, and and it's all card manipulation as you try to have the most cards of your faction out there, but you're not sure if the person across the table is even in your faction, if they're helping you or they're hurting you, and if you hurt them, if that's good for you or bad for you. You have to figure it out, and it sounds really deep actually for a small card game, so I'm quite excited about that.
This next one was in the AEG game box. It's 60 seconds to save the world. It looks like some big catastrophic event is going to happen in 60 seconds, and you have to figure out how to avert it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to check that out. I'm not sure about that one. We'll see. I hope it's good. I hope every game is good. Every game I buy, I hope is good. But
well, I guess technically we bought.
We did buy it. We paid to go to the AG game night, and it was included in going. This is Shadows in Kyoto, and this one I'm super excited about. If you watch my top 10 games that I anticipated at Gen Con, this was on the list because this is a really cool new take on the mechanics in Stratego, where you can cause your opponent to lose by tricking them into capturing certain pieces of your own, and this looks really cool.
My next one was also in the AEG game night, Cat Lady. You are collecting cats and trying to be the best cat lady, but you have to have enough treats and food for your cats, otherwise they start to get hungry. And when cats are hungry, they get angry. And you don't want an angry cat. You don't want multiple angry cats.
They come up with some weird themes over at AEG. I don't know what they're smoking, but considering they make a lot of good games, they're allowed to keep smoking it. My next one is Fox in the Forest, a 2-player trick-taking game with a bizarre scoring mechanic that has thoroughly piqued my interest.
This is the last one from the AEG Big Game Night box, the Mad Science Expo. You all play mad scientists, and you are trying to make the best mad science experiment to win the Mad Science Expo.
My next one is a game I didn't think was going to be available at Gen Con, and then suddenly I walked down an aisle and I saw it, and I thought, oh, it's just for demo. And then I saw a stack of them, and I said, wait, are you guys selling Attack of the Kaiju? And they said, yes, we are. And I said, but I thought it wasn't being released yet. And they said, we managed to get some early. And I bought it, and it looks awesome. And it is about giant monsters attacking each other and destroying the city, and there's different monsters, and they have asymmetrical powers, and being that I grew up on Godzilla movies, I am super excited for this one.
My next one is Shuffling Horror, Roswell 51. Either last year or the year before, we played this when it was just in the demo.
It was pre-release, yeah.
Yeah. And I really liked it, so I bought their other one that was like zombie themed.
I think it was Zombie 68 or something?
Yeah, Pittsburgh 68.
Oh, Pittsburgh 68, yes, I'm sorry.
But we played it a couple times, but I think this one is a much better game.
Well, it's the sequel, and they upgraded and perfected a lot of the rules in this version.
So when I saw that this was for sale, I grabbed it.
You grabbed it. You were like, that's mine. That is mine. And here it is, Yamatai, by the very famous Bruno Catala and the far less famous Mark Pakian. I hope I didn't mispronounce your name, but I'm excited to try this out. Mark is a first-time designer. Bruno Catala is very famous and is one of the most famous designers in the world, and this game looks like tons of fun. I can't wait to try it out.
My next one is by Order of the Queen. It's a cooperative game. It's like an RPG light where you basically have to go adventuring I think you have to fight monsters, and the order of the Queen is she says you need to make our kingdom safer, go out and fight monsters. And
the artwork looks amazing and adorable on this.
Yes, there's a badger who looks like
show that to the camera.
The badger is almost he looks like he's channeling Negan from The Walking Dead with his spiky baseball bat.
Okay, I can see that. The next one I've got here was a game I've seen a few times recently but had never picked up. It is Gruff, the game of battling with your opponents with mutant, genetically manipulated goats. Because the goats had gotten so powerful, they killed all the trolls. And now the goat herders do battles between each other with these crazy goats. This game sounds just silly and fun, so I wanted to check it out. Don't judge me.
My next one is Near and Far, which weighs about 700 pounds.
Well, because it's got all the Kickstarter equipment in it. Yeah.
I don't know how much. It weighs a lot.
It's probably also got, I think it's got a couple of thick books in there too, because it's got a storybook.
It's you're searching for the ruins of a lost city, and it's a storybook game, like Tales of the Arabian Nights.
Which you adore.
Yes.
You're going to love that game, I can already tell. My next one, which I've been very excited for, and the reason the wrapping is off is because it has been signed by the designers, is Unearth, which is a game that everybody is talking about right now. It's a dice placement game. Dice placement point salad, I guess you would call it. This one looks. I think this is one that you and I both are going to really enjoy. This is my current guess is that it's going to be one that's going to be in our collection quite some time.
My next one is Albans Legacy.
Now we did play this.
We played this this year at Gen Con, and it's a cooperative game where you play the Knights of the Round Table and Guinevere, and you have to fulfill certain requirements, and then also before you fulfill those requirements get a certain number of quest tokens by completing quests.
This one's hard.
Yes.
This is another very challenging game.
We did well. I think if we ran out of time because we started a little bit late, they had a lot of people.
We might have won actually if we had more time.
I think we had a good chance of winning if we could have stayed another hour, but they were kicking us out. So
but the woman who told us to play said of all the people she's seen play this game for the first time, and she'd seen quite a few, the 5 of us that were playing at the time, she said we were doing the best of anyone she'd ever seen. She was actually quite shocked at how well we were doing. So even if we didn't win, that's a big compliment. We were doing pretty well at that game. My next one is the new edition of a classic award-winning game, Torres. And Torres is a game where you're building castles and you have to have the biggest, tallest castle to win. And it just looks really cool. It's got 3-dimensional pieces on the board of these towers and such that you're building. And I never got it in its previous iterations, so I decided I wanted to pick it up now that it had a new print. And the new print looks beautiful.
My next one is Neverland Legacy. It's by the same people who did Albans Legacy. It's a cooperative search and rescue game. You're either the Lost Boys who are trying to rescue other Lost Boys from Captain Hook's ship, or you're Captain Hook and his pirates trying to, I think it's not your search, that's the search part. You're trying to search for Lost Boys to bring back to the ship. So, and yeah, it sounded interesting, and
I'll have to check. Well, I mean, they had the 3 different legacy.
We'll get to that.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, spoilers. Okay.
Do your next one.
My next one is Edge of Humanity, and this one was recommended to me by one of my viewers out there, who told me that a friend of theirs was one of the designers, and I went over and said hi to the designers, and I said hi to them for you, and this looks really cool. It's about, again, trying to survive in the post-apocalypse. And I love apocalyptic games. And this has several different versions of the apocalypse in it. And the designers told me, they told me not to say what specific apocalypses are coming, but there's an expansion coming with more varieties of apocalypses are going to be included. So there'll be all different ways to play different kinds of apocalypses, which is really, really cool.
And we visited the apocalypse on our detour on our way home.
Oh, God. Get your next game.
My next game is Sherwoods Legacy. Like Neverland's Legacy and Albans Legacy, it's the same company.
It's a series.
This one is, it's a series of games where they're all different styles of games. This one is cooperative tower defense. I thought, just looking at the back, we haven't played it or seen it, it sounds sort of like Castle Panic. So I was a bit iffy on it, but the store that was selling them was having a buy 2 get 1 free. So if it's just Castle Panic with Robin Hood slapped on it, it was free.
It was on the Legacy games, the Sherwood, What she was talking about driving through the apocalypse is our GPS took us on a detour through an area that looked like the apocalypse had already happened there. Yes. It just hasn't spread out from there yet.
It was rural Indiana. There were burned out buildings. It was.
Well, there were more burned out buildings missing windows than there were buildings that had their windows that hadn't been burned out. So, my next game is the second edition of Asking for Troubles. Now, or Troubles.
I would say Troubles.
Troubles. It's obviously supposed to be a play on Troubles.
Or Tribbles.
But this is another interesting worker placement game. When I bought it because I knew Lynn would play it with me because she loves worker placement games. And at some point, I think 25% of her collection is just going to be worker placement games because you love them so much. But this is one that I thought I would very much enjoy as well. I did not play the first edition, though I know a lot of people liked it. The artwork is really odd and quirky, but I want to give it a try, and I want to play it, so I picked up a copy.
And then I have Shadows over Westminster, which we played the demo version a couple of years ago.
Pre-release.
It basically, you play agents of the secret society in London that are trying to stop the apocalypse. I think they call it like the cataclysm. Yeah, and it's different every game. It's a different cataclysm every game in a different area. So you have to. It's kind of detective-y. You have to deduce where, with the clues, where the cataclysm is going to be, and then go there and stop it, and it's fun. I
just want to interject. It's not called Shadows over Westminster. It's called The Shadow over Westminster.
Well, fine. I believe when we played it, it was called Shadows over Westminster.
Well, I just want to make sure in case they try to look it up and they can't find it because you said the name slightly wrong. Well, it's The Shadow.
Well, they changed the name.
Okay. They probably didn't. I just picked up Sonar. Now, this is kind of a sort of sequel to Captain Sonar. Now, I never got to play Captain Sonar because I never have 8 people looking to play a game. But this one, whereas Captain Sonar is...
people willing to yell at each other
I know.
in the same room.
But the thing is, Captain Sonar is meant to be played real time and has a variant that's turn-based that people don't think is as good, whereas Sonar is the reverse. It's meant to be played turn-based, and it has a variant that's meant to be played real time. And also, the thing about Sonar is it's best played with either 2 or 4 players. So this is one where I was like, oh, they made a new version that can be played with 2 or 4 players. Lynn and I can play this. We'll play it turn-based, and hopefully it'll be tons of fun. Because I was kind of sad that I could never play Captain Sonar, so I'm glad they came out with a smaller version. I'm just really sad they took the word Captain off it.
My last one is Age of Thieves.
Now, you were excited about this one.
All the players are roguish thieves that are trying to pull off the greatest heist of their thieving lifetime and then trying to get away from the authorities before the alarm is sound. Well, I think the alarm sounds and then you have to try and get out of the city before the authorities catch you.
Okay, cool. Now, last and certainly not least, Phoenix Covenant. Now, a while back, and I have to go searching to find the comment, there was a comment on one of my videos where one of my subscribers, recommended I try out a game called Mage Wars. Now, Mage Wars is a very big, very popular, very well-known game using cards in a battle strategy way, but it's been out for a long time, and I don't think I'd have a lot of people actually interested in watching videos on Mage Wars because of how long it's been out. And while I do sometimes do a lot of older games because every game is new to someone, this is one that's got, in regard to Mage Wars, has gotten a lot of exposure. So instead, I picked up Phoenix Covenant, which is a game that I actually did play test in pre-release. And I liked where they were going with it, and I really wanted to see the finished product. And this is another card tactical strategy battle game, but perhaps a little bit different. It's from a tiny little publisher called, I'm trying to find the publisher's name here. Goodness me. I can't find it at the moment, but it's from a tiny little publisher, and it's their first game, and it looks really cool, and I'm very excited to play it, and the artwork is really nice. And you know what, for a first-time game from a tiny little publisher, this one, I mean, they really did a good job on the production, so I can't wait to check it out, to do an unboxing, and to play it a bunch and do a review for it. I'm quite excited for Phoenix Covenant. So, if you are my subscriber who commented and told me to check out specifically told me to check out the game Mage Wars, feel free to comment down below, and I hope you're gonna like the review I do of this one. Maybe you'll enjoy this game. So that was it. That was it for the games we picked up. Well, we got quite a few. What was the final count? Do you recall?
I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you can comment down below and tell us if you kept track. That was we got a lot of games at Gen Con. So, what games are you most interested in seeing coverage on? Which of these games should we play first so we can tell you about them? Comment down below. And if you enjoyed this video and you would like to see us do more videos like this in the future, be sure to give us a thumbs up. Share this video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Board Game Captain. That's Captain spelled with a K on YouTube, as well as be sure to click that little bell button on my channel to make sure you get alerts when my new videos come out, which I try to do at least a couple of new videos every week. So until next time, game on.